A new perspective on aging. Have you ever woken up, looked in the mirror, and felt like time had stolen something from you? The person staring back isn't quite the one you remember. Your body moves a little slower, your skin tells stories of the years, and the world around you feels like it's moving faster than ever. Aging can feel like an uphill battle, but what if the battle isn't against aging itself? What if the real struggle is against our resistance to it? The Buddha taught that suffering arises when we fight against the natural flow of life. Impermanence, anicca, is not something to fear, it is the very key to freedom. Instead of clinging to what was, we can learn to embrace what is. Today, I will share 5 profound Buddhist lessons about aging that will completely shift your perspective. These truths are not bitter, they are liberating, powerful, and even beautiful. Once you embrace them, you'll begin to experience aging not as a loss, but as an unfolding of something deeper, something richer. So stay with me, because what you'll learn today might just change the way you see the rest of your life. Lesson 1: You will be forgotten faster than you think, and that's okay. One of the hardest truths to accept is that no matter how much we achieve, we will eventually be forgotten. The career we built, the home we cherished, the stories we told over time, they fade from memory. At first, this realization can feel heartbreaking. We spend our lives striving to make a difference, believing that our efforts will leave a lasting mark. But time moves forward, with or without us. Yet, Buddhism offers a comforting perspective on this truth. The doctrine of anatta, no self, teaches that we are not fixed, permanent beings. Just as waves rise and fall in the ocean, we too arise and pass away, leaving ripples that merge into the great flow of life. Our goal should not be to be remembered, but to be fully present in each moment. The story of the river monk. A wise old monk lived in a remote mountain temple, known for his kindness and wisdom. Over the decades, many sought his advice, and he guided them through their struggles. One day, a young disciple asked, "Master, does it not sadden you that when you pass away, people may forget your name?" The old monk smiled and pointed to a river flowing past the temple. "Tell me," he said, "where is the water that was here yesterday?" The disciple hesitated, unsure how to respond. "It has flowed on," he finally said. The monk nodded. "Yet the river remains." The lesson was clear: it is not our name we leave behind, but the current of our actions. The kindness, wisdom, and love we share today do not disappear. They live on, not as names in history books, but in the hearts of those we've touched. A modern perspective on legacy. Consider the teachers, mentors, or elders who influenced your life. Can you recall every one of their names? Likely not. But their words, guidance, and wisdom remain with you, shaping your choices and values. That is their true legacy. Instead of striving for remembrance, focus on making a difference in the lives of those around you. The love you give, the lessons you impart, and the kindness you share will continue to ripple outward, even after you are gone. You do not need to be remembered to have made an impact. History is filled with forgotten names, yet their influence endures. We may not remember the individuals who built the roads we walk on, the nameless doctors who advanced medicine, or the countless hands that shaped our civilization, but their contributions live on through us. The illusion of permanence. In the modern world, many people attempt to leave a permanent mark through social media, achievements, or material possessions. However, history has shown that even the greatest names fade with time. Who were the wealthiest people of the 1800s? Who were the most famous artists of forgotten civilizations? Time erases names but preserves the essence of their contributions. The pyramids of Egypt stand as marvels, yet the laborers who built them remain unknown. The teachings of the Buddha have lasted over 2,500 years, but many of his followers remain nameless. True impact is not measured by recognition, but by the depth of the wisdom and kindness shared. This is why Buddhism teaches detachment, not from caring, but from clinging. When we let go of the desire to be remembered, we free ourselves from unnecessary suffering. Instead, we embrace each day with purpose, knowing that the meaning of life is not in being remembered, but in being present. How to apply this lesson in daily life? 1. Focus on the present. Instead of worrying about your legacy, ask yourself, how can I make today meaningful? 2. Give freely, share wisdom, kindness, and love without expectation of recognition. 3. Embrace impermanence, accept that change is inevitable and that true impact is measured by the depth of our actions, not their longevity. 4. Find joy in service, shift the focus from self-importance to making meaningful contributions. 5. Let go of the ego, understand that seeking validation through remembrance is an illusion. True fulfillment comes from living authentically in the present moment. When we release our attachment to being remembered, we find freedom. We live with deeper joy, greater presence, and a profound sense of peace. Our actions, no matter how small, create waves that extend beyond our time on earth, merging into the eternal flow of life. And that is enough. Lesson 2. Your body will change, so befriend it instead of resisting. Aging often brings frustration with our bodies. Once, we could run without effort, now, our knees protest. Our skin is not as firm, and our hands are not as steady. It feels like betrayal. But the Buddha would say, the problem is not aging itself, but our attachment to youth. The story of the cracked pot. An elderly monk, struggling with daily tasks, once asked his master, "Why does my body fail me? It once obeyed my every command." His teacher handed him a cracked clay pot and said, "This pot once held water effortlessly. Now, it leaks. Does that mean it is useless?" The monk shook his head. "No, master. It still holds some water." The teacher smiled. "And does that not still serve a purpose? The water that escapes nourishes the earth. The pot is not as it once was, but it is still of use. Like the pot, our bodies change, but they are still valuable." Instead of resenting aging, we can express gratitude for the vessel that has carried us through life. The key to aging well is not to fight change, but to adapt with grace. Reframing the aging body. Rather than seeing your aging body as something failing you, see it as something that has served you faithfully for decades. Your body has been your companion, your vehicle, your protector. Consider. Every wrinkle tells a story. Each line on your face is a mark of laughter, worry, or wisdom. Every ache is a sign of experience. The wear and tear remind you of the life you've lived, the places you've been, and the efforts you've made. Your body is not an enemy. It is your oldest, most loyal friend. How to care for your changing body. 1. Move with compassion, engage in gentle exercises like yoga, tai chi, or walking to keep your body flexible and strong. 2. Nourish it well, eat foods that support longevity and well-being rather than chasing diets that promise eternal youth. 3. Rest when needed, honor your body's need for recovery instead of pushing it beyond its limits. 4. Practice gratitude, instead of lamenting lost abilities, appreciate what your body still allows you to do. Aging with grace. Instead of longing for the past, embrace the body you have now. Aging does not mean losing value. It means evolving. As long as you have breath, you have purpose. A frail body does not mean a frail spirit. The elders we admire are not inspiring because they look young, but because they radiate wisdom, peace, and resilience. You too can walk this path. Befriend your body. Thank it for all it has done. And walk forward with grace. Lesson 3. You can't keep everyone in your life, and that's natural. As we grow older, we begin to notice something bittersweet. People drift away. Friendships that once seemed inseparable fade, family members who once called regularly become occasional visitors, and some disappear without a clear reason. It's easy to take this personally, wondering, did I do something wrong? But Buddhism teaches that impermanence applies to relationships too. The parable of the river's flow. A young monk once asked his master, "Why do people leave us when we love them?" The master took him to a quiet riverbank and pointed to the flowing water. "See how the river moves? Each drop of water flows past us, never staying in one place. Some drops travel together for a while, merging and dancing side by side. Others separate quickly, carried away by the current." The young monk nodded. "People are like that," the master continued. "Some walk beside us for a short time, others for years. But all must keep moving. It is not their departure that should sadden us, but our refusal to accept that their presence was never meant to be permanent. Instead of mourning every lost connection, cherish those who remain. The love, laughter, and lessons shared live on within you. How to accept changing relationships with grace. 1. Let go of expectations. Understand that people come and go, and that's part of life's natural rhythm. 2. Appreciate temporary connections. Even brief relationships can leave a deep impact. Focus on the value they brought rather than the fact that they ended. 3. Invest in those who stay, nurture relationships that endure, and be present for the people who are still in your life. Aging teaches us that relationships evolve. Instead of clinging to what was, embrace what is, and remain open to what is yet to come. Lesson 4. You will no longer look young, and that's a gift. There comes a moment when you catch a glimpse of yourself in the mirror and realize you no longer look like the person you once were. Your skin is softer, your hair grayer, and your hands more delicate. Society tells us to fight this, to erase wrinkles, dye hair, and chase youth at all costs. But what if we saw aging differently? Buddhist philosophy teaches that true beauty is found in wisdom, presence, and kindness, not in flawless skin. Your wrinkles are not flaws, they are the lines of a well-lived life. Your gray hair is not something to be ashamed of, it is a crown of experience. The cherry blossom and the pine tree. An elderly woman once visited a Zen master, sadness in her eyes. "Master, I look in the mirror and do not recognize myself. My beauty has faded." The master led her to a garden, pointing at a cherry blossom tree in full bloom. "This is beauty, is it not?" She nodded. Then he took her to an ancient pine tree, its bark weathered. "And this?" She hesitated. "It is different, but strong." The master chuckled. A child may only see beauty in the cherry blossom, but with time, we learn to appreciate the pine. Her beauty had not faded, it had transformed. The radiance of age. Think of the elders you admire. Are they beautiful because they look young? Or because they carry themselves with dignity, warmth, and wisdom? The twinkle in their eyes, the patience in their words, the kindness in their voice, that is real beauty. Instead of lamenting lost youth, celebrate the wisdom gained. Your beauty has not disappeared, it has evolved. Every wrinkle is a memory, every silver strand a testament to your journey. How to embrace aging with confidence. 1. Redefine beauty, see aging as a transformation, not a decline. 2. Cultivate inner light, develop qualities that make a person truly radiant: wisdom, kindness, and peace. 3. Celebrate the journey, instead of hiding signs of aging, wear them with pride as marks of experience. Aging is not a battle to be fought but a journey to be embraced. Imagine if we saw every wrinkle as a story, every silver strand as a lesson learned. The confidence of knowing who you are, the strength of having endured life's storms, that is a beauty no cream or dye can ever replicate. Wear your years with pride. Because true beauty is not behind you, it is within you, right now. Final thoughts: embrace aging with grace. Aging is not a punishment, it is a privilege. Every wrinkle, every gray hair is a mark of the life you have lived, the lessons you have learned, and the love you have shared. Too often, society teaches us to fear aging, to resist it at all costs, as if growing older is something to be ashamed of. But Buddhism teaches otherwise. Aging is not the enemy, fear is. When we resist change, we suffer. When we cling to youth, we lose sight of the gifts that come with age: wisdom, patience, and a deeper appreciation for the present moment. The more we fight the inevitable, the more we fill our hearts with frustration and regret. But the moment we surrender to life's natural flow, we unlock a profound peace. We see that aging is not something being taken away from us, but something being given. So, my dear friend, what will you do with these truths? Will you fight against time, or will you embrace it with an open heart? Will you dwell in the past, longing for what once was, or will you celebrate what still is? The choice is yours. But if you choose acceptance, if you choose gratitude, then you will discover that aging is not an end. It is a new beginning. Carry these lessons with you. Walk this path not with fear, but with grace. Find joy in the wisdom you have gained. Share your stories. Laugh freely. Love deeply. Live fully.